Today we're headed up into the mountains and gonna go check out my Axialfest base camp location. Since Axial isn't doing camping on site, this year I'm camping at a coworker's neighbor's property. It's a little piece of private property where he's got a kind of a primitive cabin, but some RV spots hooked up. So that's where we're headed to go check that out. Axialfest is in a couple of weeks. And since I was headed up to the area, I decided to bring the 1.9 Wraith that I prepped on Friday Night Live. That way I can go do a shakedown run of that just to make sure everything is working fine and I don't want to make any additional changes. This is about an hour and a half from where I live. It's up around 6,000 or 7,000 feet in elevation, where it's only 87 degrees rather than the 113 it currently is at my house. So a nice opportunity to escape the heat, go drive some toy trucks on some new rocks. Checking out the property here. Pretty awesome little place to camp. Flowing water right here. Looks like we're gonna be able to swim after a long day of Axialfest. Driven the Wraith a little bit. I like the adjustment to gearing. Gives it a little bit more wheel speed, makes it more manageable. I never liked the super low KV of the Fusion system, but I'm a little bit happier with it going to a 52-15 gearing. I usually ran like a 56-13, 56-14, so this is a much better fit for me with this on 3S. Brandon and his son John are here. Brandon's driving his Capra. His son is driving Brandon's Ripper. For those that didn't see the Friday Night Live, basically I took a new Wraith 1.9, stripped it down to the chassis, and then I replaced the stock transmission with a Vanquish 3-gear transmission kit, which is just a complete kit including the slipper eliminator, machined gears, chromoly outputs. It comes with a spur gear, motor plate, gear cover. I changed the gear that came with it from a 56 to a 52. I included Incision drive shafts, and then I installed Vanquish Rock Jock 10.2 axles. Inside of those axles, I did a standard ratio gear set in the front, and then I did the Vanquish underdrive gear set in the rear. Obviously, I bolted those gears to Vanquish spools for the 10.2 as well. I used Incision front universal shafts and Vanquish rear axle shafts. I also installed the brand new Method 105s in gold with the GR8 Scale Hardware, which is also a gold color. I used black center lug nuts, and then I did stainless brake weights in the front. I used the 12.0 inch wheelbase kit from Incision, which replaces the stock plastic links with stainless steel. I used 350 hubs up front with the stainless brake disc, which equates to a 475, so I used a 475 in the rear. For the power system, I used the Fusion 1800 kV system from Hobbywing, and I used a Power Hobby direct power servo so that I wasn't relying on the internal BEC of that Fusion. I had these electronics previously installed in my Gatekeeper. I just took all of that out, dropped it into this kit. As I was saying, today it's just a shakedown run of this, see what I want to change. I used the Incision 90mm shocks with it with 80 weight oil. I do notice that I want to lower the truck just a little bit more, so I'll probably adjust the upper shock location, both front and rear. The front, I'll just move all the way back. In the rear, I'll probably take and flip the upper shock mount on the Wraith chassis and move it forward. So should get that rear nice and squatted. I used Proline trencher tires and I filled those with Crawler Innovations 2-stage foam. The trenchers seem to be working pretty well out here on this slab rock. Where it gets into the loose stuff, they don't really work as well. But on the slab that we have a lot of up in this area, they seem to be working great. They're the G8 compound as well. So we checked out the camping spot. There's a little bit of rock here for crawling, nothing crazy, but we just wanted to make sure that it was gonna be a good spot to camp during Axialfest. But there's another spot up here that I found the other day on Google Maps that I wanna go check out. So we're gonna head down the road to it, near a place called Loch Leven Trails, and it just looked like some sprawling rock slabs to go crawl on. So gonna head back down the hill towards that, see how that crawling is. This area turned out to be a pretty good spot to run. Truck's running well, kind of getting the feel of it. These 1.9 Wraiths drive a little different than a lot of the other cars. It does have a little bit shorter wheelbase, and you gotta kind of put the weight how you like it. And then you just have to get used to driving with the momentum and or inertia that the car really wants. I do have a few things that I want to modify, and the temperature of the motor is warm but not crazy hot. I may worry about it over like a 4 or 5 hour day of trailing consistently, but I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it feels here in a little bit. I'm going to keep crawling though, just getting a better feel for the truck. Every time I drive one of these 1.9 Wraiths, I really enjoy it. bit of a hard time finding the Jeep, but walked right up to it. All right, that's gonna do it for today. Pretty happy with how the truck's working. I know the things that I want to change should be easy. My Axialfest prep for the 1.9 Wraith, other than a few little cosmetic changes that I plan to make, wrapped up. Now I can get on to my other Axialfest prep project that has not begun yet. So we'll see you on that one. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. I will say that the one little place I parked at leaves so much more left to be explored here. This place has got just an amazing amount of rock. If you're ever looking for this place, you can also look for rainbow bouldering area. And I mean, there's just massive slabs. And on the other side of the street, it keeps going as well. I mean, way up top, you could spend days here and never touch even a large percentage of this place.